Thank you everybody for joining. Today we're going to learn, myself, Kim, and Carol, we both work at New York City Public Schools. Today we're here to talk about the New York City Public School Empire State Teacher Residency Program. So let's go over just a brief agenda. I'm going to speak briefly about New York City Public Schools as a whole, go over what it's like to work at New York City Public Schools. Then after, I'll pass it along to Kim, who's going to give you a rundown of the Empire State Residency Program. And then once we finish up, I'm going to open up the breakout rooms with all of the university partners that are here today so that you can get a chance to meet them and ask any questions that you might have about their specific program. So let's get started. In this section, we'll do a brief overview of New York City Public Schools. So when you join New York City Public Schools, you're going to be joining the largest, most dynamic district in the nation. We have over 900,000 students who speak over 180 languages and a network of 77,000 fellow teachers. New York City educators have the unique privilege and responsibility to jumpstart the next generation of innovators, leaders, and citizens. New York City public school students represent a wide range of backgrounds, identities, languages, and learning needs. They need teachers who reflect their diversity and are ready and able to support their learning. So whatever your background is, your experience, your skill set, there are students at New York City public schools waiting for a classroom teacher just like you. To start off, I do want to talk about the salary that we offer. As of September 14th, 2026, salaries will be starting at $71,314 for teachers with a bachelor's degree and no prior teaching experience, and $80,166 for teachers with a master's degree and no prior teaching experience. Teachers' starting salaries vary based on education and experience, and you can also earn additional compensation for teaching after school or summer school programs and for teaching in demanding environments. Now, the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality, which is where we currently are, we're unable to predict anyone's starting specific salaries, but because it will be based on your experience level and educational attainment, it'll be the same regardless of the teaching pathway that you choose. You can estimate your starting salary by visiting the UFT salary schedule, which the QR code right there on the right will bring you to. But it does outline opportunities for increases based on previous teaching experience, some longevity at New York City public schools, and additional educational credits. Now, just to note, all teachers begin at the base salary and then apply for the salary steps and salary differentials using the salary application system after you start teaching. If you're eligible for a higher salary due to experience or educational attainment, you must apply for a salary step increase when you begin teaching full-time at New York City Public Schools, but you cannot apply before then. Just to note, if you're currently a paraprofessional, your years of experience won't count towards the teaching salary steps. However, if you are a full-time substitute teacher, your experience will count as full-time teaching, but you just need to provide the documentation or proof of your full-time work. And just looking ahead, this is what the salary will look like in the future at New York City Public Schools. So if you're currently in your 8th year of teaching with your master's plus 30 additional credits of professional development courses, you would be at $103,291. And if you have 15 years of teaching at New York City Public Schools with your master's degree plus 30 credits and your your professional development courses, you'd be making $123,939. Remember, this is the pay scale using the 2025 school season, so these rates are subject to increase with the yearly raises negotiated on your UFT contract. On top of the salary, you also get a comprehensive health insurance plan, which includes dental, vision, and prescription drugs, and some of these plans require no employee contribution. There are also annual retention bonuses prorated during your first year, and they increase each year after that. You're also a member of the United Federation of Teachers, or the UFT, which is the largest teachers union, and you're also enrolled in our pension plan as well. And New York City Public Schools employees are eligible for many additional benefits, including commuter benefits, a college savings program, employee discounts on everything from technology and media to travel and education. In addition, scholarships, financial incentives, and other special programs are available for many employees. And now I'm going to pass it off to Kim. She'll give you more details about the Empire State Teacher Residency Program.
Yeah, thank you, Sergio. I'm just going to share a broad overview of the program and then also a little bit about the different universities that are participating in this. The Empire State Teacher Residency Program was created through a grant from the Department of Labor. And through this grant, we've created a pathway in which residents enroll in a graduate level teacher preparation program with one of our 10 university partners, who I'll share a little bit more about in just a moment. Residents spend 1 full year, which is 1,000 clinical hours, student teaching in a New York City public schools classroom, and they train under the supervision of an experienced and trained mentor teacher, which we call a teacher development facilitator in this program. Throughout this experience, residents receive a $30,000 stipend, which is paid across the course of their residency year. At the end of the residency experience, residents do have to commit to teaching in New York City public schools for 2 years post-residency in their high need subject area. Oh, might be really teeny tiny for you all to see, but I'll read them out loud. So we are really excited to be partnering with these 10 universities from all across the city. And hopefully you can see here each of our partner universities and the specific programs they offer, which include science, students with disabilities in grades 1 to 6, students with disabilities in grades 7 to 12, bilingual students with disabilities, and TESOL, which is Teachers of English as a Second Language. And so our participating universities, just in case that's too teeny for you to read, is the American Museum of Natural History, the College of Staten Island, which is one of our 2 CUNY schools, Bank Street College of Education, Columbia Teachers College, Lehman College, which is our other CUNY university, Mercy University, New York University, Relay Graduate School of Education, Touro University, and Wagner College. And I want to take just a quick moment to walk you through the resident experience across the residency year. So I have to make this a little bit so I can see. So between June of 2026 and September of 2026 is when residents typically begin their graduate level coursework at their university. I do want to say that each university has a slightly unique timeline for their coursework, but in general, most of our programs start their coursework over the summer. In September of 2026, residents begin their experience training in a New York City public school classroom under the supervision of their qualified teacher development facilitator. Between September, then all across the school year between September 2026 and June 2027, residents are working in their classroom to complete those 1,000 hours of clinical experience while they're simultaneously attending their universities and completing their coursework. University supervisors will periodically observe the residents throughout the year, and residents are responsible for completing all of the certification exams and requirements, which include workshops and things like that. And then in September of 2027, residents are eligible to be hired in New York City public schools in their assigned subject areas. And I also just want to add here that depending on the university and their program, some residents might still be completing coursework after September of 2027, but they will still be eligible to be hired with an internship certificate. And our office does provide a lot of support in helping residents find positions. We need you, and the positions are out there, and we will support you in getting hired in one of our schools. So how much time do we have for questions, Sergio? We'll open it up for just a few minutes.
I would say, if you don't have any questions, if you do have a question, you can stay in the room, but I'm going to instruct everyone now on the next steps in terms of meeting with
Sergio,
universities.
before we move, will we be able to share the recording for people who weren't able to hear us still?
Yes, definitely. After this session, luckily we were recording and Kim and I had set it up. So after this session, everyone who attended will be getting a recording of this specific session that Kim and I just spoke about. So if you weren't able to hear us, we did record it, and it'll be sent out as soon as this meeting is over. But I do want to share, if you do have questions about the program, any brief, any generic questions about the program, feel free to stay here. Anyone who doesn't have any questions, or if there are currently any IHE partners here, if you want to click on the top right the top left back arrow, that'll take you back to the lobby. You should see all 10 universities have their own breakout rooms. Each university, when you hop in, you'll be meeting with a couple of different representatives from the university. They'll have information for you about their specific program. Unfortunately, there is no chat function in that room, so you won't be able to chat, but you should be able to speak with them either in a group setting or one-to-one, depending on how they have the room set up. If there is an issue joining a specific room, or you can't get into a certain room, there are limitations on how many people can join. I believe it's 25. So if you can't join, it might mean that the room is full. So feel free to go to a different university that might interest you, and then hop around, but try to go to as many IHEs or universities as possible. So again, feel free to hit back on the welcome tab, go back to the lobby, view the different universities that we have here. They're all, waiting there for you to join in. And again, if there are any issues joining, feel free to come back and write in the chat if there's any issues. But if you have any questions, I'm going to be going through the chat now and seeing if there's anything that I can answer.
Someone asked about if there's an option to train during the fall or the spring, and this is for all of the universities. This is a full year student teaching experience. You do not need to have experience in education beforehand, but you do need to have a bachelor's degree, depending on the university of program. For example, the science programs, you do need to have a certain number of science credits. Those are the ones that are most specific, I think.
There was a question here about the GPA requirements for the program. Each individual university has their own specific GPA requirements, which they will be presenting on. It is something that they will have the answer to at their specific booth, but every university does have their own specific GPA requirement. I did see a couple of questions just asking about the difference between this program and fellows. I will say probably, and Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the biggest difference will be the pacing. Fellows is done during the course of 7 weeks during a summer, and then you get your initial certificate and you're able to teach that following September. So let's say 2026, you do the fellows program in summer of 2026, and then you start teaching September of 2026, and you work towards your master's degree. However, and I can go back on the timeline here that Kim had presented previously. This is the timeline for the Empire State Residency program. So I think the pacing is the biggest difference between the two programs, but ultimately, they both lead to a master's degree in a specific subject area, and at a subsidized cost.
Yeah, that's right. And the stipend that you receive through this program is up to you how you use that. You can put it towards living expenses or towards the cost of tuition. And the cost of tuition will vary depending on the university. And when you visit their booths, they will be able to share the specifics around that.